Hello guys, today we have here with us Sahil Pruthi, founder of Keto India. So hi Sahil. First of all, we like to start by knowing about what is Keto India. What is the problem you solve with Keto India?
We're basically a healthcare tech company which helps people with personalized and integrative solutions, which is personalized nutrition and supplementation and insights from clinical trials in terms of helping them manage and reverse their ailments like PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, type 2 diabetes, hypothyroid and cholesterol. So that's what we do as a company. So yeah.
Achha, great. So, I happen to know that you have taken training in acting.
Yeah.
So, wanted to ask, are you pursuing acting or not? And how did you make the shift to being a startup owner?
See, so I think I was very intrigued by the idea of theatres back in college itself, right? So I trained in theatres back in college and did a lot of street play, stage play, did a lot of videos and script making as well. So I think doing a lot of theatres and acting in college and post-college till the time before I started my company taught me a lot of empathy, right? And I think empathy teaches you to not just to detach yourself significantly from what the customer thinks or what the other user thinks, right? And I think I've not left acting. I've just picked up the learnings that I've gathered from there to what I'm doing now. So yeah.
Wow. So you were also having a job before this.
Yeah.
So this is kind of in a trend to leave your job and pursue a new startup venture.
Yeah.
But for you per se, what was that thing which made you decide, okay, now I will pursue Keto India?
I think we started off with an Instagram page, which was a pure hobby while I was working as a product manager with Innovacer. So Innovacer was a healthcare tech company and I was building products at extremely high pace at that point in time. But I think the Instagram page slowly began to take off in terms of a bit of revenue was coming in. There were early signs of product market fit being hit, right? And I thought this is the right time. I was 26 and I felt that I don't have a lot of responsibilities for me, and the only way for me to know if I'll be able to do it well enough is to kind of take the plunge, right? So I just decided that one day I decided that I will probably consider quitting my job. Told it to my best friend. She thought I'd gone crazy because the appraisal was right there, right? So I think I told my friend in mid-January, on 15th or 16th of January, and 18th I had quit, right? And my founders, my my fellow colleagues didn't think it made sense at that point in time because the appraisal was right there, right? So, but I think it was a decision to see what was I capable of to do things, right? And I strongly believe in something called as a regret minimization framework, which is a very fancy term which Jeff Bezos uses, right? Is that if you think of a decision and if you extrapolate yourself to the age of 60 and think back, if you didn't take that decision, would you regret it at the age of 60 or not, right? And मेरा simple answer आया कि yes, I would regret it if I don't quit my job and give this a shot, right? So it was just me minimizing regrets, which I still do now, right? Daily decisions I take on regret minimization. So yeah, that kind of helps.
That kind of a guide is very useful in taking life decisions.
Yes.
Achha, great. People talk about customer reviews since yours is a customer facing startup. So how do you deal with bad reviews?
See, I think we're very real time in terms of reviews. So what we do is that we've put on automations every week in terms of any review that somebody might have, good or bad, right? And the moment there is an escalation where the feedback goes below 6 on a scale of 1 to 10, there's an immediate escalation that goes right to the person who's servicing the client and to leadership that manages that particular client, right? So we kind of make sure that we escalate, and we want to make sure that our NPS, which is Net Promoter Score, it's just a fancy term, not a fancy term, it's a technical term which kind of gives you an idea how happy the customer is. We want to make sure it's at least an 8 plus on a scale of 1 to 10, right? So the moment it goes down, we take immediate action, right? And we feel that that's one of the major driving forces to drive virality in the company also in the long run. So yeah.
Great. So the thing apart from success or money that is driving you to pursue this chronic healthcare sector,
I think it's multiple things, right? I think I feel that there are only two things that live after you're dead. It's a deeper reason for me, and it is just two things. One is that your work and how you made people feel when they were there with you, right? So my work is that, right? So I think I want to create impact in people's lives so that that can stay beyond me, right? So that is the reason why I've taken harder decisions. I think I'm more risk friendly as a person, so I take decisions basis this idea ki, my idea is to kind of do things or build products or businesses that can stand the test of time. If that's not the case, then maybe it's my art. So either of the two cases should kind of stand beyond me. So yeah.
No, yeah. So we have had so many conversations, and one thing I particularly remember, I have a impression about you is that you take risks, but those are very calculative. Being a startup owner or even pursuing acting sounds, it's a very बाहर से बहुत अच्छा दिखता है, but you have taken this very calculated risk, I would say. So what are your thoughts, objective thoughts behind pursuing your startup? Okay, you take a risk because you are emotionally attached, but फिर भी आपने सोचा होगा कि हाँ यहाँ पे opportunity तो है.
Correct. Absolutely. I think all decisions that I've taken or everything that I've pursued, I always tell people that you should take risks, but entrepreneurs should ideally hate risk, right? Only pick up battles that you can win, right? And that you can only figure out by doing a lot of battles that you end up losing first, right? So I think your line of thought of taking good decisions is first a lot of bad decisions, and then you slowly start to figure out, right? And then you can plan with patience and then execute, right? So that's what I do, that whatever business vertical that I want to experiment in, whatever product that I want to build, whoever I want to hire, I make sure that I minimize my risk as much as possible, because there is somewhere in my past I've taken a decision that was a bad decision, which now kind of reflects in me taking a good decision, or a risk as people like to call it. But I tried to make sure that I minimize my risk as much as possible, right? So even if me quitting my job when the appraisal was there might sound very sexy, but I was very sure that I will give it 18 months. If it does not work out, it's okay, right? I'll probably go back, right? It's a very well thought of thing, right? When I've grown the company also, I've very carefully hired folks. Even if I started to raise capital also, right? I ran the company bootstrap and profitably for a fair bit of time to make sure I minimize the risk for my investors also, right? So I feel that entrepreneurs should ideally hate risk, but minimize it. But the only way to start reducing the negative outcome of risk is to actually take a lot of decisions where there are a lot of unknowns, and then you start to get to a place where your risks are lesser, right? So that's what I think maturity is also eventually. So yeah.
Wow. So yes, lastly, Sahil, we want to know your experience in 21/72 by Ivy Growth.
Oh, I've had a fantastic experience so far. I think it's from all aspects, right? From the logistics to the quality of startups that have come here who are pitching, to the kind of warmth that I've experienced from the organizing committee. I think it's all been amazing, and kudos to you and the entire team at Ivy Growth that has done such a brilliant job in bringing or maturing the ecosystem at Surat. It does not look like Surat is at a nascent stage. It feels like it's a very mature ecosystem the moment I came to the hotel. So yeah, brilliant job done by folks at Ivy Growth.
Thank you so much for your kind words. So that's it, Sahil. Thank you
so much for your time. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.